Well, that's the intro. Welcome back to Clubs Go. My name's Ryan, and this is Sharpay. Welcome back to Plot to Go. Episode number 18. Well done, you did it. I'm Jack.
I'm Owen.
Also known as Sharpay.
I can't remember the thing that they do in High School Musical.
Ma.
Right.
Yeah.
And my brain was just me.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was watching a video recently where like somebody does that backstage. They're I do my vocal warm-ups and I go brrr.
Yeah, I think people do like weird vocal warm-ups.
Weird?
Well, they can't, like, if you saw someone on the street doing them, you'd be like,
Oh, absolutely.
get help. Let's do get help.
Get help.
Throw you the camera.
I saw a really interesting TikTok recently that was like, what is the plot of High School Musical? Like the musical within High School Musical. Because all of the songs, or most of the songs in that movie, are songs from the musical. And because Troy and Gabriella become the two main leads or whatever, that means at some point they sing Bop to the Top.
Yep.
So like Troy's like Arriba, like they like that.
But there's different versions of those songs, right?
Is there?
Do you think the Arriba part's like them riffing?
Oh god, they like slow it down. We've made a ballad. Bop 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 to the top.
Yeah. God, can't wait to see that cut. Where's the Snyder cut of
High School Musical? Well, they could do, so they did High School Musical, the series. They could just do High School Musical, the musical. Bring them back. They don't look that different.
High School Musical, the series, the musical.
Yeah, so you have Olivia Rodrigo there doing the... Oh.
No, not to Olivia Rodrigo, just like the level, how deep it goes. The rabbit hole of music, the musical.
I think that's quite fun though. If they want to just keep going, keep this bit going. We're not talking about High School Musical today, contrary to popular belief. This week we're talking about The Accountant 2. I mentioned last week, if anybody listened, I kind of don't know what we were going to talk about this week. I said I wasn't going to see the Until Dawn movie. I didn't. It's got really bad reviews and I could not be bothered.
Yeah, you're not scared. That's not why you didn't go. You're not scared. That could never be you. You wouldn't be scared of horror.
That's definitely not me.
You love horror movies.
I love horror movies. The other movie that I'd said was The Legend of Ochi. It's like this indie movie. It's like E.T. kind of. Mm-hmm. It's getting great reviews and stuff. It is. It released in the UK. Mm-hmm. It's in one cinema in London. It's shocking.
Released.
Yeah. And I found out the previous week, because I also mentioned this at the end of last week, there's a movie with Pedro Pascal that's out. That's getting amazing reviews. It's from the directors of Captain Marvel, which, whatever, but it's getting really good reviews. Cast is incredible. It was in one cinema, again.
In the UK?
In London, yeah, in the UK. Well, that was my weekly distribution rant.
That's shit.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Did you have a distribution rant last week?
I don't think so. We went 1 week
without...
week. It's like that sign in like power plants, how many weeks without injury.
Can we have a sign for like weekly, or like how often we have a UK distribution rant?
That's fun. Weeks with UK distribution rant.
Maybe I'll buy a whiteboard, because then we can roll that about.
Oh, that's fun.
That would fit in
like a Star Labs kind of whiteboard. Yeah,
let's make it. Let's bring this back to the Flash.
To the Flash. Everything goes back to the Flash.
The Flash was the first thing ever to have a whiteboard in it.
Fun fact. And because it's on a podcast, you know that's true.
Should we start just spreading nonsense in the podcast?
It's just a misinformation podcast. Yeah. There's like
most podcasts.
Most podcasts, yeah. So instead of seeing two cool indie movies, I saw The Accountant 2. Owen luckily suffered jet lag, so he didn't have to come see The Accountant 2.
I was suffering.
Yes, suffering jet lag.
You were actually suffering.
Well, who knows? Maybe my review might surprise you. Who knows? But because of that, we're going to also talk about the first 3 episodes of Andor. They're dropping as like little batches of arcs. So we're going to talk about that. A good batch. Not the bad batch. Nice. And also the latest episode of Doctor Who, because that is what we just finished watching.
Yeah.
Where should we start, Owen? Should we
just get Accountant 2 out of the way,
Okay.
and then we can yappa the rest of the stuff.
Great, perfect. I'm going to talk about The Accountant 2, and if you saw this, I'm sorry for you. I want to just start. I'll get to like what it is and stuff eventually, but I went 11:30 in the morning on a Friday. It's normally when, if you've been following like these other episodes, normally I'll go see a movie in the morning on a Friday, and that's kind of the one that's like a solo review or whatever, and then we normally see something Friday night. So I have experience now of going quite often on a Friday morning and knowing how many people are in a cinema and stuff. Normally dead, a few sparingly people that don't work a 9 till 5 or like have flexible jobs, or I'm assuming are in there, or students, stuff like that. I went to book this, and say maybe in like a 300 capacity screen, maybe nearing a third of it was full. And I genuinely didn't know. I was like, is there a bank holiday I've missed? Is like there a national cinema day? Or I didn't know what was happening. And I still don't have an explanation for it other than people really enjoyed The Accountant 1.
Friday before Easter?
It was Friday after Easter.
So
It was just Friday there. No, it was Friday as in yesterday. Easter was last week.
Yeah, so that would make a Good Friday. Is that not like a bank holiday? Am I being daft?
Good Friday was...
Is it the one before it?
Yeah.
I know holidays.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's no holiday or nothing. I just thought it was really strange.
It's really odd, yeah.
But yeah, went in a really weirdly busy cinema to see The Accountant 2. Very briefly, have you seen The Accountant 1?
No.
Okay. Neither had I.
Is The Accountant 1 good though?
In my opinion, no. It has a 3.3 on Letterboxd. It's one of them like everything's coalesced in the middle, like ratings wise.
Yeah.
So I think people think it's a fine movie. You're gonna have people on either end of that. It is higher in the lower side. To give a brief summary of that, if you've never seen The Accountant stars Ben Affleck as a autistic person, and the reason I say autistic like that is because they never really say autistic by name. They just say that he has a condition, and there is one moment in the movie where they bring up that he could have X or autism or blah blah blah, so it's encompassed within. So he just has a condition, and it makes him really good with numbers and like puzzles and like there's, I don't know, they don't, it's not a great depiction of autism. If anybody's ever seen Rain Man, widely acclaimed movie at the time, I recently watched it, thought it was one of the worst, most like damaging portrayals of like a condition like that. It seems like we haven't moved on terribly far. It is a marked step up from Rain Man, but it's still, it portrays autism as just like kind of like superpowery and not, it doesn't like ground it in reality. I'm very curious to people who have like people who have this condition or like have family members that have the condition, what they think about the portrayal of it. I tried to read into it a little bit. I haven't had as much time as I wanted to do that, but it seems that some people are like miffed about it, and then it's just like not touched upon by other people. Anyway, he's like this really gifted person when it comes to maths, and like he can spot patterns, like pattern recognition. And the plot is wildly convoluted. He basically is hired by like criminal organizations to like do their dirty work for them, like make sure their tax records are clean and stuff. And he gets hired by this biotechnology place to do that with their numbers, finds the problem, but then they didn't want him to find the problem, so he needs to be killed. Meanwhile, there's a subplot that doesn't ever get included in the main plot where this, she's not FBI, but she's FBI, I can't remember, the Treasury, whatever the fuck in America, is hunting him down because he's a man called The Accountant. And at the very end, her boss, J.K. Simmons, is like, yeah, I've been working with him the entire time, and because you're going to take my job, you need to work with him. So he's like an anti-hero guy that the government is then forced to work with.
Sorry, was that a spoiler there?
Spoilers for The Accountant 1. Sorry. The Accountant 2, I won't spoil. Don't you fret. I'm going to literally read and I'm not one for just like reading what's here. the plot is so convoluted that I actively finished The Accountant 2 and went,
Wow.
how am I going to recap this? So The Accountant 2, I kind of like the tagline. It's, do you like puzzles? And what has to be one of the funniest things is, in the first movie, you get a scene and then it, splash card, the accountant, and it's all in like lowercase, like keyboard font. The most plainest of things.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. And I watched it this movie. We get one scene at the start, and then we get the accountant in that plain font again. I was like, oh, I could have done something more creative. And then at the very end, instead of 2, they make it the accountant squared.
Why? Because it looked cool to someone.
Well, you think maybe, this was my thought, the accountant squared, we're getting 2 accountants. We're not.
There's imposter accountant.
Who's the imposter accountant? I want the like Among Us music there.
Yeah. You could do that.
Copyright? No?
You could find one that's not the actual music that sounds like the music.
I'll just get you to like mouth it in the mic.
Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember what it sounds like. Something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The description reads, when an old acquaintance is murdered, Wolf is Ben Affleck, the accountant. He's compelled to solve the case. Realizing more extreme measures are necessary, Wolf recruits his estranged and highly lethal brother, Brax, to help. In partnership with Treasury agent Mary Beth Medina, they uncover a deadly conspiracy, becoming targets of a ruthless network of killers who will stop at nothing to keep their secrets buried.
The brothers are called Wolf and Brax.
They're called... his second name is Wolf. His name is Christian Wolf, and Braxton is his brother's name.
Is Braxton a name?
I've seen so many comments about Braxton. John Bernthal plays Braxton, and it just works. I don't know why, but it just works.
He's a Braxton.
He's a Braxton.
Right, okay.
So, this movie picks up 8 years later, which is the same distance of time between these movies, which is nuts. I can't believe there's a sequel to this, by the way. I just can't. I'm like, who is going to go out and see this? Sinners is still in the cinema, and I wonder if it's doing so well because people are like, oh, there's a sequel to that Ben Affleck movie. Let's go see Sinners. Like, who's going to see this?
I don't know. I think I vaguely knew that the Accountant 1 existed.
Yeah. It reminded me of like American Sniper, like that kind of time where like all those like gunman poster movies were coming out. So this picks up 8 years after. Braxton is in the previous movie. Yeah. So
oh my god, it's like the Braxton sequel. It's his movie.
Oh yeah, full spoilers for the first one because I guess I need to talk about the sequel. At the end of that movie, Braxton is actually hired by like the bad guy to be his bodyguard. So the entire movie, the brothers are like opposing each other, and then at the very end, they meet each other. He realizes it's his brother, and it's like, "Fuck! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" And the brothers like rekindle their relationship, and Ben Affleck's like, "I'll call you in a week, and like we'll get back together," because his brother like was really supportive, and then Ben Affleck distanced himself from his brother.
So does he not call him?
Yeah, we pick up 8 years later and he didn't call him. And he's not seen him since the first movie. And the first time he calls him to meet up is to solve this like case. So there's this whole dynamic of John Bernthal being pissed that like his brother only cares about him when it's, about jobs and shit. The plot of the first movie sounds ridiculous. This one, but it plays itself so seriously. It's like boring serious. This one was just like, oh yeah, this is dumb. Let's just like be dumb. The first time you meet Ben Affleck in this movie, he is doing a speed dating competition. And they apparently have used an algorithm, that's in air quotes, for them audio listeners, to determine which partner would be best suited to the people in the speed dating.
Oh, it's like the love dating website from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes. Great pull. But he goes on all these dates with these women and they end up hating him. And then it cuts to this scene where he's like, yeah, I gamed your algorithm and I made the best dating profiles that all these women, all the like best women would match with me. Just from the start, from the jump, it's just bananas. And it knows it. It's leaning into it. There's a whole sequence where Ben Affleck line dances for no reason. There's an extended sequence of John Bernthal in his underwear, just like trying to hype himself up for a phone call. And you're like, what is this? What is this?
He's got Gen Z phone call anxiety.
Yeah, he has proper Gen Z phone call anxiety. And he's like, you think it's going to be something really tense with the job that he's on. He's phoning about trying to get a dog. There's a 5-minute sequence of him just like stressing out in his underwear.
Nice.
Great. And those are the moments...
You're going to say they bring up the film.
I was going to say those are the moments that make the film, but they are.
The funny ones.
Yeah, it's just like leaning into the like stupidness of it. The plot of this movie makes no sense. I actually can't tell you it. Like, but I read it. But like, just how convoluted it is. Somebody at the start is murdered, but like, there is so many ties to people. Do you know, a classic thing in a spy movie, they meet somebody who's going to give them information to see somebody else.
Yeah,
to
and
see
you just
somebody
go
else.
a chain of fucking people, and none of them are memorable.
No, yeah. And it's really hard to keep track of because it's just exposition dumps every time they meet somebody. It's that kind of thing here. Some interesting stuff, but rarely. So it's one of those movies where you're like, yeah, I guess this is happening, and I guess I'm just enjoying the scenes as they come. I'm not really seeing the connective tissue. There is a plot point in this movie. So you learn in the first movie that Ben Affleck's character has been doing this anti-hero stuff, taking the money from like all these criminal organizations and stuff, and giving it back to Harbor something, the neurological facility from his childhood. Sorry, to go back to the first movie, his mother wanted to put him in a neurological facility, but his dad said no.
Okay.
So they took him home. His mum left, and his dad toughens him up by basically like exposure therapy, so that he'd stop his like tics and stuff.
Okay.
So in the first movie, you get flashbacks to all these different moments. One of the flashbacks is randomly them being taught like Vietnamese martial arts or some sort of like East Asian country martial arts. And the dad's there like, again. The guy who's teaching them is like, I can't keep beating up these kids. And the dad's like, they have blood and snot on their faces. You're not stopping until it's you that is the blood and snot. It's so weird.
The first one.
The first movie. So in the second movie, you know that he's been given this money back to this neurological place. You also learn, in the first movie that there was a girl that in this neurological place when he was a kid, and he like attempts a puzzle and he can't find the last puzzle piece. So he starts like really getting like fidgety, like 'cause he's not finishing something. And there's a girl who like is non-verbal, and she finds the last puzzle piece and gives it to him. You learn that woman is now his wife, and she lives at the neurological place. She's the daughter of the guy who owns it. So he's been given money back to this place. So it's like really quite something now. You learn that this woman has employed a group of children in like a basement to help her help the accountant do his spy stuff. There's a group of like kids with neurological difficulties hacking into like the FBI and all that stuff. It is like Felicity from Arrow or any like superhero man behind the chair is commanding a group of children to hack government systems.
For a second, it was going like the MI High route, where they got a bunch of children to like be spies, but that's not what happened.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie you also learned that Ben Affleck gets all his information from his wife. She uses like computer voice.
And his wife is getting all the information from the kids that she hired
to
hack into.
No, she's really good. So she gets all the information herself. But there's at one point Ben Affleck's like, this is like critical. We need like all this information now. And she's like, got it. And she
team.
goes down into the basement and the kids are like all there. It's absurd, but it leans into it. Like I was never like, oh, this is bad. It was just weird in a way. Some fun action scenes, especially towards the end. It's very like shooty, but like well shot shooty stuff. That's really it. Like
sounds thrilling. Is there like an underlying message to the film?
No,
or just like stuff that happens.
No, I still think the portrayal of autism or whatever condition, because again, they don't really. I don't know what it is. I think it's something on like the spectrum.
I reckon that's so that they can just play fast and loose with stuff and
probably
not care.
Yeah, it still feels weird to me. The thing that works about this movie is their like brotherly relationship. Like, John Bernthal clearly cares for him, even though there's like barriers and difficulty with like him reading social cues and like emotional situations and stuff. That's nice. There are little bits on though that teeter on like I like exaggeration that doesn't feel right. Again, I wasn't like offended by it or like taking it out, but I was more like this. Something just feels off to me. I don't know. This did make me think that John Bernthal should absolutely lead his own action franchise. He's so compelling.
I think he's probably quite built for a role like that.
Yeah, he understands the tone of this as well. Actually, I said this in a review. This is a blend of camp and dad movie, and that feels like impossible to do, and this somehow pulls it off. It's really bizarre, but he works so well in that tone. It's like really impressive. Ben Affleck's doing a portrayal of somebody with like some sort of like autistic condition, so he's like kind of he plays him very emotionless, so it's very hard to latch onto him as a character. But John Bernthal, like, I don't know, I just found him really compelling.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's the Punisher.
Yeah. He's got a good voice as well.
Yeah, even thinking like in the scenes in the bear that he's in, the very few.
Oh, yeah.
He's always quite gripping, so.
Yeah, it was after this I was like, oh, you actually might be up there as like an underrated actor that I'd not really thought about.
An underrated actor that also just seems to be in everything.
Yeah. I mean, what else has he been in movie-wise?
It's never movies, it's always TV.
Baby Driver.
Yeah, sure. He's in The Walking Dead. He's in How I Met Your Mother.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very briefly.
Wolf of Wall Street. He's in Sicario.
It's been ages.
Oh my god, he's in an amazing movie called Origin that I highly recommend everybody seek out. He's in The Odyssey. That's exciting.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like his career's on up. Which
Yeah,
is impressive
totally.
for someone who has had a decent career for like 20 years.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Not a ton of thoughts, but I would just say if you like these types of like movies, you'll probably like this. It's just sad that it's another one of these like, yeah, it's fine. Especially when this is a sequel to something from so long ago. It's just bizarre to me that it's not like, wow.
Are you expecting that after having watched the first one?
For it to have like garnered a sequel, yeah, like.
Do you think Bridget Jones 4 really got your hopes high?
Maybe that's it. Gosh, this has brought me down a level.
Because I mentioned that.
No, well, yeah, like Bridget Jones had me up here for sequels, and now
I need to
I'm
mention
back
it
down.
as many episodes as I can, like this year at least.
I think we will get to best films of the year, and that
It's
will
gonna
still be in your top 10.
It might be. I really enjoyed that film.
It's really good.
We Live in Time is also a film of this year for me.
Oh yeah, it is.
So,
who knows? If you've seen The Accountant 2, please let me know your thoughts. And
Just
what was
you.
your favourite scene? And you.
yeah, thanks, Jack.
No, well,
There's two people on
do
this
you
podcast.
no? Do you want to know? This solo episode really got to me. I don't think you want to read about The Accountant 2. That was
Probably not.
But
I just wanted to be included.
Well, hey, DM Owen your thoughts on The Accountant 2.
Don't do that.
Please.
Don't try and find me.
Shall we talk about what should we talk about next?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk. We should talk about Andor.
Okay.
I feel like that more people will
have watched Andor.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Actually, of our current listeners, it might be Doctor Who.
Oh, maybe.
But let's talk about Andor.
Yeah.
I guess I should technically start this one because you just went.
I can do it if you want.
Yeah.
Andor, the best thing Star Wars has made, is back. If you haven't seen season 1, I should say, because I've said this last week, movies, non-spoiler, TV shows we will be spoiling because it's
because it's so
stupid.
much easier.
Yeah.
And also like it's current.
Yeah.
Like people miss films and you understand that people. Well, sorry, it's not that you don't understand people miss shows, but like because I miss shows all the time. But when a film comes out, it's like in the cinema, like that takes out so much time and money to like go and do all that. TV shows, just like it's on the box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just back in my day.
It's funny you say that though. Tony Gilroy, the guy who made Andor, said he feels bad for the podcasters for this season because they're releasing it as 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So like instead of like they have to watch 3 episodes to then talk about 3.
Oh sure. I mean, I had to sit and watch 3 episodes over the span of 4 hours because I took that nap in between.
But not out of badness.
No,
tiredness.
I mean, no. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm jet lagged. They're like not out of badness. Like you had to watch it.
Yeah.
Did have to watch it because I was coming to record this. But I quickly sat down and started it. And was like, oh yeah, this is what good TV looks like. And it wasn't even like anything good had happened in the show yet. It was just like the vibe I got from sitting and watching like how it was shot, the music, like the very few performances that I'd seen in like that couple of minutes. Like I was like, oh, this is prestige TV.
Opening shot. Like opening shot is like this white room with a TIE fighter.
Oh sure.
And I was like, yeah,
sold. Yeah.
Great.
Sorry, that was it.
We're locked in.
The bit that kind of got me. Sorry, we should talk about the actual show, but like the plot because you were gonna go to season 1, but you do the TIE fighter stuff, and then after the opening credits, you quickly get to like Mon Mothma, and it follows her character for a second, comes in on a close up with between 2 characters, and then the person that's speaking is the only person in focus. She starts speaking, the focal length gets wider and they're both in focus. Then a third person comes up behind them and then the focal length gets wider again and the 3 of them are in focus. And it was just like such a nice detail.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels really calculated. That whole scene where she's like moving around, it was just like chef kiss.
Yeah, I'll quickly. So Andor season 1, something that I think everybody was like, "What? Why the fuck are we getting this?" Because it was in that slew of like, we're doing a Kenobi show and also this, and then we're also doing a show about this random guy in Rogue One.
It's a prequel to a prequel.
Yeah,
it was nowhere near the most interesting character.
No, absolutely
in the film.
No.
And then they put out this crazy show that's about this one character.
Yep. So it's a prequel to Rogue One. The first season is 5 years before Rogue One, and then this season it's releasing in 4 arcs, each a year, moving towards Rogue One, I guess. Really like small little detail, but when the first arc starts, it's for BBY.
Yeah.
Battle
before Battle of Yavin.
Before Battle, yeah, Yavin.
Yavin, is it?
Yeah. I was just like that is nice because people are just watching the show, they're like, oh okay, but like people are like invest in the world. It was just like a nice little detail. This season picks up on kind of 4 storylines.
You're cutting between 4 things.
We've got 4.
I think this is the only kind of like issue I might have had with this. Was just like I don't know if we call it editing. We're jumping between 4 things, and I don't think it's necessarily done well at all times.
Okay, I'm very interested in hearing.
It's just like, film and TV is different. The thing about film is like when you move between scenes in film, normally it's for a good reason. It's supposed to flow. If you jump from one thing to another, it's just kind of like it takes you out of it. Because it's a show that does happen, but it felt like it was happening a lot.
Interesting.
In this.
Weird, because I didn't notice it in this, and I have noticed it very recently in Daredevil, where they jump between like Fisk and Daredevil at the same time, and it's like they're trying to draw like cinematic parallels, and their stories are nothing is
maybe
the same.
That's why you noticed it more, because they're trying to do parallels. In this, they're obviously not.
Oh no, they weren't. That was my issue.
Oh right, like cause just like there was like was it a fight scene in one of these episodes, and it just cut away really quickly. It was the like sexual assault scene, and it cuts away to like do something else, and it does it for like 5 seconds and then it cuts back.
Right. Okay.
And it's like one of those things where they've obviously like shot a section of the fight scene, then shot another one, and they just have to like splice something in between. It just felt like the whole thing felt really off. Like the first time you see Cyril, you see him for like 20 seconds.
Sure.
And it just feels like they had to go, we need to introduce him before this point.
No, you are right.
Let's put him in somewhere in here. And I think that was in episode 2. I think episode 2 was the worst for this.
Mm-hmm.
When they were trying to juggle a lot at the same time. And they're obviously trying to line everything up with each other so that it comes to like this conclusion that makes sense by the end of the 3-episode arc.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know what was my least favorite section of all these stories. I'm just interested if you were in the same.
So interesting. So the 4 stories that we have.
Yeah.
Why don't we tackle them story by story?
Yeah, let's do that.
So
from
we
most
have
to least interesting.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to mention the 4, and then I want you to say what maybe we should 3, 2, 1. So we have Andor's story, which is him trying to escape the TIE fighter and getting caught between 2 camps of rebels that end up like splitting, whatever we're talking about.
Yeah, one camp that ends up becoming 2.
Yeah. We have Mon Mothma, who is marrying off her daughter, which is following on directly, immediately from the previous season's storyline. We have Cyril and what is her name? Dedra, yeah. Who are dealing with Cyril's mom.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Also, I guess they're also Dedra is also tackling with what is his name?
Director the guy from Rogue One.
Is it Krennic?
Is that maybe his name? Is that the Skrull's name? From
Far From Home.
I'm lost here with the.
I think his name Director Krennic.
Okay,
we'll go with that. Learning about the. Oh my god, I'm blank.
It's the planet with
from
the
Rebels
that they want. Oh, is it in Rebels?
Yeah, there's a massacre of blank, whatever that planet's name is.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Spoilers, because I've not finished
Rebels. Whoops.
Yeah.
And then we have Bix, who and her little squad. They're on.
Yeah.
Whatever that. There's so many planets. The planet hiding out as kind of refugees. What is your least favorite arc then?
It's Cassian's.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I think it's the most dragged out.
Okay.
I also think the performances are the worst in that.
Is
section.
that Troy Baker?
Where? Oh no, I don't think so.
No, I
if it is, I'd be shocked.
Okay, should I look it up? Because it was pissing me off the entire time. I was like,
yeah, I don't think that's Troy Baker.
Okay.
We're gonna wait for you to check if this is Troy Baker or not.
It apparently isn't. No.
Okay, good. Because I didn't think that performance was very good. So
yeah,
just a lot of them. It was like they were almost like teenagers. Like the actors in that.
I'll bite my tongue until you're.
Okay. My favorite. Should I call it an arc?
Oh, do you want to stick on Cassian?
Let's stick on that then.
Yeah. Do you have more to say? Sorry.
There's not much to say. The first episode ends with his opening's exceptional.
Yeah.
With like him stealing the TIE fighter, then he crashes. You kind of get to see him like masterfully play everyone off, but it's not. It's actually quite straightforward, and everyone else is thick as shit.
Mm-hmm.
You end that first episode with him getting abducted, and then you end the second episode with him getting freed. And I was like, oh man, we took a whole episode of just like him sitting around every time we cut to him, and then yapping at each other. These rebels who we don't know. It's like the Doctor Who issue of like you don't know their relationship, but you'd like to think they're tighter knit than like them all just kicking off each other and then all wanting to kill each other like straight away. And then the last episode he was in, I don't know how much we saw of him until the end.
Not much.
So
cool. I appreciate what it's trying to do politically, what it's saying politically. Mm-hmm. I think this show is adding political nuance to this universe that's kind of lost on it. I think that the other stuff that's being produced. I mean, back in the 70s when the original trilogy was produced, it was very idealized politics of like, we can defeat the Empire by like working together and blah blah blah. And I love those movies. This is adding so much like grayness and like grit to like the bad stuff that like oppressors do, and also the bad stuff that like people who rebel have to do. And I just find his situation interesting because I viewed it as like the left, in air quotes, who are like infighting within each other, and they never get shit done because they are so childish, which is why I find it interesting you said it was like teenager performances, because I think it was meant to be played like that, at least the way I took it, that these are like fucking children who can't agree on anything, and instead they're just fighting each other, and the real work that needs to be done is never going to get done because they're all too busy squabbling with each other.
That's a lovely read on that. I feel like that's not what they're going for. I just feel like we're going to see them again, and they're going to need someone to lead them, and that's kind of what that was setting up. Because the planet, did they say what planet it was?
Yeah, I can't remember what one.
Because he leaves and it's got the pyramids that are the
I
ones
did wonder that.
They're the ones from the rebellion. That's like the base camp.
But that is Yavin. But
are they just
place he steals.
Anyway, that confused me.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with like they have no direction. I didn't think it was trying to make a statement. I fucking hope it was, because otherwise I'm just kind of sitting there like, I don't think this was a great piece.
Interesting. I just really appreciated it because I was like, I think, especially in like the current political climate, I feel like Tony Gilroy is trying to say a lot with the different camps, and that's what I took away from that. And I just appreciate it. I mean, I don't know if it is the correct read, whatever the fuck that means, but because I've seen a lot of people say his was the weakest.
Yep.
I would personally say Deidre, and not because it's bad, but I found so much like interesting political stuff out of Andor, even though it wasn't necessarily centered around Andor. And Deidre's stuff was kind of like, oh cool, we get to see Krennic again, and that stuff's interesting. And I really enjoyed the scene with his mum, but like, meh, it was fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on her arc and the stories?
I'd say hers was my second favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so interested. Okay.
And it's funny because I feel like we don't get a lot of her either.
No,
if I'm
yeah.
being honest, I just think it's interesting seeing her. And I need to rewatch season 1 because I can't remember like exactly how it ended. I remember like the final shot of season 1. I think it's the final shot, like the Death Star. And being like, oh my god, that's what they were building in that prison. Holy shit. I can't remember where everyone got left off. It's just interesting seeing like them having discussions around like the propaganda that they're going to use.
Yes.
I think that was making a political statement.
Yeah.
Where they were kind of going like, this is how it works in the real world. We just make shit up. We're Fox News, but in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So it's not specifically like her character, but like what was going on around her.
That Krennic stuff was brilliant.
Yeah. When he's speaking, like, yapping at her, and then she's like kind of being quiet, and then
he's like, I thought you'd like speak more.
Yeah.
And she knows exactly what she wants to say.
Yeah. And she says it and leaves. And then the way that she controls the room with Cyril's mother as well.
Yeah.
Is brilliant.
Yeah.
I knew that scene was coming because I seen a screenshot. So when they were standing.
Of what scene?
The one with the mother.
Oh,
So like presumably when you're watching the show, you're supposed to think someone of real proper importance is going to come through that door.
Sure.
And then it's Cyril's mother, and it's just a really funny scene. Yeah, I feel for him though.
I knew it was his mom.
Yeah, fair enough.
But like in the best way, because you know they're like hyping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man. I love the shot where he's like, he's gonna go compose himself, and it cuts to him just laying in his bed like, I'm done.
I think there's interesting lenses used in that scene because he goes to answer the door and everything feels really warped.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably because they're in quite a tight space.
Beautiful apartment, Deidre. Just everything white.
Everything. It's so funny though because like you kind of, I feel like they were trying to say something with their wardrobe. Where like
very psycho coded.
Yeah, these people are all like they all suck. They're all awful people because they're part of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like they make themselves look more like the bad guys to present themselves to others, because they were just kicking about in like their normal like trousers and shirts or whatever, and then they both went to their bedroom and like picked out like the darkest clothing that they could pick.
Like it's the level of authority kind of.
Yeah, like they're almost like their casual clothes that they were choosing was in keeping with like their work clothes.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I also loved some of the clothes that Deidre has, like a shirt at one point that like has like 2 ties coming out of it.
Right.
So cool.
I noticed a lot of the shirts that the guys were wearing were like solid pieces, like almost like like a priest would wear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like still with ties and stuff. Like it's just interesting how they managed to try and get like Earth real world fashion and try and like manipulate that to make it look Star Warsy.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Um,
Interesting. So I'm curious then. So your least favorite was Andor.
Mm-hmm.
Second favorite was Deidre. What was your third?
It's the plot that's like all of Andor's friends.
Oh, okay, like Bix and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that one, I would have thought I think that started off as my least favorite, but I just think that's a slow burn.
Yeah.
And I think you start to find that one a lot more interesting. I started to feel a lot for like Cassian's like best friend, who was just like doing his best to try and like find them a way out.
Yeah.
I forget all of their names though.
There's a lot of information. There's a lot of characters.
I can't remember what the girl's called.
Bix.
Her name is Bix.
Her name is Bix.
I really like her performance.
Her performance is incredible.
She can do a lot with her eyes, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're really following her in that.
Yes.
That part of the 3 episodes. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff where she has that interaction with the lieutenant of the Empire. And you just like, before we even get to like the kind of like higher, more intense moments, you can just get how like sleazy and kind of creepy he is.
Yeah.
I actually, looking at him, I think he looks a bit like Ricky Gervais in The Office.
Oh God. Okay.
I think if they wanted to, they could make The Office with this guy.
God, let's call up his agent.
If they really wanted to.
If they really want to go again.
A bit tangential, but like my brain just went to like, this guy looks kind of like Ricky Gervais in The Office.
And then you lock back into the scene and you're like,
and then I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I think that's nice seeing, because you're talking about like the rebellion stuff and factions of it, and that's like one of the more covert sides with like these people just trying to make their way in the world, and others that aren't in as bad a situations still just trying to help them out, like that guy trying to get them to like 0800 or whatever.
Well, helping them out until it's not convenient for him.
I don't think he did rat them out.
Really?
Well, that was the whole thing with Cassian's friend, like shouts at him, falls to the ground and looks up at them, and they have like a little smile at each other, because that was like a performance, or maybe planned or something. Like I don't think that was all, do you know, or maybe Cassian's friend like knew that this was coming, or like he had to tell them, so like he's not mad about it essentially.
No, yeah,
There's
but
still,
I
like,
think he's
camaraderie
still
there.
ratted. But like, I like he had to.
Maybe I feel like they were always coming as well.
Yeah.
Regardless, we also there was like the kid that had like his little romance or whatever.
Yeah.
That was fine. That was just like one of those things where you're like, oh, he's young. That kind of makes sense. Youth.
God. I just thought this was also every single story I thought was like politically dense. Deidre's maybe less so, but the scene with Krennic was like her political stuff. This is straight up in your face, like we're talking about illegal immigrants and people having like their codes or whatever, their what did they ask for? Their visas?
Yeah, they did mention visas. The lieutenant guy was like, yeah, it's a tricky situation because like there's like the people here that don't have visas, but we need the work to get done.
Yeah.
Which does describe a lot of Western countries where there's like an aging, dying off population, a lot of illegal immigrants coming in. Like someone needs to fill the jobs and the roles and keep up the country, and people are really mad about it, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of tension there and stuff.
I thought that stuff was super interesting, and again, it's adding nuance to Star Wars that is lost in like the movies in the original trilogy, because I mean,
You can only do so much with a runtime.
yeah, you are beholden to a runtime, but also like what those movies are adventure, actiony, pulpy space operas.
It's a
They're
genre.
not. Yeah,
It also comes down to the level of writing, and George Lucas has never been the best writer.
sure. Yeah, you can look at the prequels and go, there is political stuff.
Yeah, they
in
try.
there. Yeah, they try. I actually wonder if those prequels were extended into a show, something like Andor. Now, if we would get, the Clone Wars. It has
That's
been.
interesting, because so we've got like a Harry Potter remake coming. Probably more worthwhile remaking the prequels and turning them into a show.
Absolutely, yeah. But also, no. Because also, like, it's canon, and I just stop with remakes. Like,
Sure, but just as a thought exercise.
Yeah. Well, if you watch the Clone Wars show as part of, like, that trilogy of movies, it does become, like, quite politically
It brings it
involved.
up a bit. I'm not I like the Clone Wars, but I'm not like a massive the Clone Wars is this amazing thing that like fixes the trilogy.
No,
That's
no.
I just can't.
It does feature the best thing Star Wars has ever made, and I stand by that.
The final
The
arc
Siege of Mandalore is the best thing they've made.
Fair enough. What, and on top of Andor?
Yeah. That 4-episode arc is unbelievable.
I think Andor's better.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's interesting. Teach their own. I don't think Andor's bad. That arc, I remember sitting there and being like, this is Star Wars. Yeah, I thought that stuff was really interesting. Just it's like people's lived experiences, and you are getting this like, it's just colouring in this universe in such an interesting way. And then also the stuff with Bix. I never ever thought we'd get something that like raw,
Like
an adult in
Yeah.
Star Wars. I saw Tony Gilroy was talking about
explicit, I think is maybe the word that I was looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
and they handled it in a way that was really lovely in how non-explicit the explicit was.
Yeah. I mean, they do it in kind of a Star Wars way where it's just like she fights off the thing before it happens.
Yeah.
And then goes, "This is what was going to happen."
Yeah. Also, the implication that it happened to her before, who knows how many times, when she was being tortured. The very first scene you see of her is the guy who was torturing her, I think, like going to her bed and like trying to take
that's
sheets.
fucked. I did wonder because I couldn't remember where he was from.
Yeah. Like an absolutely horrible situation, but her performance is phenomenal. I think for Star Wars to tackle that is interesting, and also kind of like, it is weird to say this, but like necessary in this like evil empire, these people that can get away with whatever they want. Sadly, fucking men would be doing that. Tony Gilroy had this statement about, because people were asking like, how did you feel putting something like this serious in Star Wars? And he said, I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say the word on a podcast. I'll maybe skirt around it. Yeah, people who have been victims of we're all kind of, we all are in a way, we're all products of that, because these oppressive empires, for lack of a better word, that have ruled Earth at some point will have included men that just did that kind of stuff. And it kind of like took me aback to read that we're all products of that in some way. Like if you go far enough up a line, that's probably happened.
The second that I saw him coming over to see her, just the two of them, I knew that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And my brain did go straight to the thought of like, this is what happened with empires in the past.
Yeah. It's
I never really thought about it being like a lineage thing. Presumably
horrible thought.
In parts of the world you're more likely to be a product of that than others, but
yeah. But I reading that, feeling how I felt about each of the stories, I just feel like this is in such safe hands. I'm not even like, I don't know how they're gonna wrap it up and I feel so like this is like needed in a way, and I'm glad people are watching this and getting a lot out of it. Yeah, and I thought her storyline specifically was just really.
So where would you place
really well done.
my 2 and 3 then?
So, in my head, it's Deidre last.
Right.
Again, there's not that much space between these. Deidre and Andor are quite like neck and neck. I enjoyed their stories. Bix and her crew second. I just thought it was new. Also, loved how all of that stuff was shot. They're like gorgeous cornfields and stuff.
Yeah. It's funny because we cut from two scenes where there's the scene with Mr. Townsend from The Crown, which you haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't know. Who
he's the guy. He's the money man in Mon Mothma's storyline. He's leaving in this really awful CGI shot on a ship.
Yeah.
And then it cuts straight to the cornfields with the TIE fighter, and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
That's when you brought that up. I thought of those two shots back to back because I remember being like, "That looks awful. Oh, that looks great."
It's interesting because I think the first season of the show looks incredible.
Yeah.
By and large, there's been a little bit, I think, more CGI used in this.
Yeah, because they got the money or something,
or because it's more expansive now.
Maybe.
But I still can't get over how good this looks.
There's only that one scene that annoyed me.
Yeah, I didn't. There was not much.
Yeah.
That took me out. You haven't seen Skeleton Crew or
no.
See, I have I'm up to date on all the live action stuff. It is
unlucky.
Truly, it's profoundly insane how well this looks compared to some of the others.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just because this is one of those shows that they've given so much time to, and presumably that means VFX artists have gotten.
Oh, sure.
And then also because
shooting on location though as well.
Yeah, shooting on location, and also like because it's had so much care in general. What you'll find is if someone cares enough on set, that makes the job 100 times easier in post production.
Well, people who've seen this entire show as well, like the entire season, are saying it's the best TV to come out this year, and that's in a year where we've already had like Succession and The White Lotus and like The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. People are already saying like this.
Yeah,
I feel like you can feel that level of care in the first 3 episodes.
Awesome. Mon Mothma.
Yeah. The goat.
She's the best one.
Oh my god.
I think, well, again, like performances.
Her performance.
Her performance.
I thought this about the first season. I don't know if you felt the same way. She was the standout to me in the first season.
I don't know who I thought the standout was.
I think she is an unbelievable actor.
I like how, I think she's the one that they chose for the prequels as well. I think she's the same actress.
She's the same actress.
Which is awesome. Because I don't think she gets much time to shine in the prequels.
At all.
And they've bagged themselves an actress that good to play Mon Mothma for like this following prequel show.
Yeah. I would take a Mon Mothma show after this.
Oh, 100%.
She's so interesting.
I do think their performances are great. I do think it's really funny when you see them in scenes where there's loads of people around them and then they're talking really serious. Like you see Skarsgård go from like to like I mean like like walking around a room and you're like like I get it for the camera, but like in real life like somebody's watching you being like, I've never seen him look like that before.
Yeah, because he goes from flamboyant to like, I'm a gritty man.
Yeah, I'm gonna murder someone.
Yeah.
I love those kind of storylines where like it's like people like hiding as other people. There's like this kind of espionage.
Double life.
Yeah, double life thing. Hannah Montana. Freaking love Hannah Montana. I'm glad you Hannah Montana was in my brain. I'm glad you tied it back to that.
Mon Mothma is the Hannah Montana of the Star Wars universe. Truly.
I think it's more Skarsgård because he has a wig.
Fair.
Yeah.
So fair. Do you think Skarsgård would make a good Hannah Montana if they did a reboot?
Yeah. I think he has the best of both worlds. I don't think he does. I think he's got the worst of... He has a speech in the first season, I think.
They all kept monologues in the first season.
That's just...
I know the exact one you're on about where he's like on
a walkway or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
to the guy
just
in the
come
elevator.
Back to me now. Yeah. Is he not just talking about how he has to eat shit for for the world to get better?
To get better, yeah.
I don't remember what the speech. That's just
that's it.
The sentiment of that speech is like that. Yeah. Sorry, I don't really have much to say. It just was the best one.
Yeah. I thought kind of what you were talking about earlier. The way it was shot, that first opening bit where the camera's just following her in this one shot, it made that event feel so lived in, like it was a real wedding, and it was acting out more like a play, but it never felt like staged. No. It just felt like you were existing in this world with her, and it was so cool.
Yeah, it flowed really well.
Yeah.
And then, because I think part of the reason it does is like, you get the thing where she's like walking past characters and they're nodding, and I was like, oh, nobody stopped her yet. And then you get to Mr. Townsend, whatever the hell his name is in this show, and he tries to drag her back, so you have to go back with her for a second. And I think that's part of the blocking of all that. Just made it feel like you were there.
Even the way she's acting in that blocking, like you say, like she's like saying hi and nodding to people and stuff, and the camera following her face and her being like, you can see the front she's putting on for other people when there's an interaction, and that front dropping just ever so slightly when nobody's interacting with her. Oh, she's the camera knows as well how good she is because they hold on her so much. I actually didn't love the way it came about, but I like the shot where the crowd's in front of her and then she just does that like turn to camera.
Which shot are you talking about?
So like the party's going on, and then she's like in front of the party, and instead of looking towards the party, she turns behind her and she looks directly into camera.
Right. Her performance was excellent. When she speaks to her kid, she's like, you don't have to go through with this. Oh my god. She quickly has to like shut herself off, turns around, does her thing, wipes away a tear, but at the same time is like, hey bitch, I stand in front of you. Like
she was like, fine, if you're going through with this, fuck it.
Yeah. Let's fucking do it now. Yeah.
Loved all the like oh my god, Chandrila, the like Chandrilan traditions that we were getting.
Yeah.
Didn't feel forced. It felt like very natural.
Are they in the Star Wars universe already? Like, I always wonder when I'm watching these things, because like you're saying, it feels like tradition. They walk out those doors, she's like, I have to be in front. There's two people walk over it with the branch.
Yep.
Which is presumably supposed to be in that... I think there's something about that shape within that
like the
culture.
wishbone kind of...
Yeah. Because Mom Mothma has earrings that are like that. And then they place it down and they have to like walk over it. And it just feels like these traditions have existed for however long.
Totally.
But I don't know if they made it for this show or this existed somewhere and they pulled it.
I actually don't know. Maybe in a book or something. Certainly not like TV.
I just always find it so interesting, like playing the video games, like The Last Jedi,
the Jedi Survivor,
Fallen Order, and Survivor. Like when they pull stuff and they expand on it, I just think that's so interesting.
Totally, yeah. It makes the world feel so lived in.
It's something that, because we're gonna talk about it later, like Doctor Who is missing.
Yeah.
And it's fine, kind of, like I understand it. Because like when Russell brought the show back, like it had this look and feel. You'd have recurring like the Space Police or whatever the frick they were called. The Jadoon.
Oh yeah, Jadoon.
The Jadoon platoon on the moon. I can't remember what. I can't remember. So I'm just quoting the show.
Oh.
I can't remember what they were called, and I actually hate myself for not remembering what it is. But like
fake fan.
They have. They have like things within those 4 seasons that all make sense, and then like that just goes away. The next writer comes in, just decides that that's gone.
Yeah.
Whereas like Star Wars always has this consistency to it. I remember watching the behind the scenes for them making Fallen Order. There's so many meetings they had, which is like people would come in from Disney and they'd be like, you can use this, you can't use this. If you're using this has to be this way.
Yeah, it's somebody's job, isn't it?
Yeah, like literally to have the design language as well as also using like things that already exist in the correct way.
Yeah.
Part of me wondered if that's why the TIE fighter, I don't know if the model that we saw in this show was a new one. Just within the context of like those people seeing it, or a new one entirely, just so that they could have him sit in it and have it like light up the way that it lit up or something.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. But
makes me, on a massive tangent, makes me excited for DC because James Gunn has said he wants to run it like Star Wars.
Oh, have like this consistent...
There's a through line.
Yeah.
Because you are right. Andor feels different. Like you can look at other stuff and say it's different, but you're not saying it's not Star Wars.
No, because
that's so impressive.
Yeah,
like,
it's in that world.
Yeah.
But you've chosen a different part of it instead of the same fucking... I love the Jedi stuff.
Oh, same.
It's the highlight of Star Wars for me, is anything to do with the Jedi. But like, for the love of God, let's do something different.
Do you know what this is like? This is like if Marvel decided to go, hey, let's tackle the blip and like just ordinary people and like the superheroes are interesting, the Jedi are interesting, but equally normal people going through this and dealing with the oppression is also equally interesting.
You'd have to get such good writers on that because I would get bored so quickly.
Yeah.
Make it like a mini series or something.
I
really well written 5-part series or something.
Like a Damon Lindelof, like the guy who did like Watchmen, the Watchmen show.
Right, sure. Not seen the Watchmen show.
Oh
dear. There was a point where there's so many things I've missed where I'm like, oh, I need to go and do that now.
Yeah.
Like I was watching this and I was like, is now when I go and do all the Star Wars is because there's so much fucking TV to watch.
Yeah.
Because I want to can't like moving away from like just talking about my life. I wanted to catch up on like The Last of Us and stuff, so it's just like trying to get everything in current as well as like stuff that's already existed.
I would say the stuff that's currently airing is like the stuff to because you're part of a conversation.
Because I have to.
Well,
it's my second job.
Yeah, there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, love the entire like just the like goings ons of rich people and all this stuff. Wait, go ahead.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just seeing like these like fake ass people and all the shit that they care about.
Totally, and the way we're getting like the relationship drama as well between like her husband and stuff. She's just, I love how she's existing as if this is an event going on in her life, and they're not focusing it on like she's only dealing with Luthen or only dealing with her daughter's thing or only dealing with the relationship. She's walking and things are like attacking her from different sides and she's just having to deal with all of it.
Yeah, some stress.
That culminating in something that has been on my like in my head on repeat since I watched it. The Star Wars EDM where she's just fucking losing it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
That's incredible editing at the end of that episode.
The music and fuck yeah.
Because they managed to use it to build tension and stress in other areas of that episode.
So good.
Yeah.
Genuine. I am a sucker for a club scene in anything. I just love it. I think you can tell so much.
They make it look so much nicer.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I want to be like that, just flapping my fucking massive wings and going about. See when they cut to a wide though, and you see how much space she's been given. Okay.
Would never happen.
No, never in a club. I just love how quietly that starts, where she's just given one shot, and then you're right. It's like 20 minutes where we're just editing between, and that music just like keeps ramping.
And she starts to enjoy it more as well.
Yeah.
Because you see her just like, I don't want to be doing this at the beginning. And by the end, she's completely lost it. Whether for better or worse, because I feel like that could be her losing her marbles for a minute.
Yeah, I do wonder that. Like breaking point or like...
Yeah, is it breaking point or like enlightenment?
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's a good quote, Owen. How do you feel about going forward? It's weird because we're not going to pick up on these immediately, I guess. We're going to skip a year.
How do I feel about it going forward? God, well, she just has stresses. I'm interested to see what it seemed like was... I'm going to keep calling him Mr. Townsend.
Go ahead.
It seemed like in the last season, from what I remember, he was like a really good friend of hers.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's he's a teenage boy that's been manipulated by Andrew Tate. He's on like this downward spiral, like down a rabbit hole. Like, because he says something, she's like, how much are you speaking to him like? And you can just tell, and like just his body language without even, if you had it on mute, you can see how he's just a little bit pissed. Yeah. And he's like looking to this guy as like an authority figure. So I think when we pick up with her in a year, she's going to be dealing with the fallout of like what he's become.
Do you think they're in a relationship in some way? Like she's had to appease him to keep him quiet?
Oh, by that point?
Yeah.
I fucking hope not.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not surprised if that does happen, but I feel like that... I didn't think that would happen. I'm also like, I don't know where we're...
I think that's the interesting thing though, isn't it?
With most things. Well, Cassian and his group like all came together, so I guess they become one thing. That would be interesting. I wonder if they'll just start tying things up as we get
very interesting
towards the end.
Like I do think Luthen might be this like hopper between stories.
That's what he was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That was like, was that a reveal or something in season 1? Where like you only see him as you see him like as this character, like a rebellion character,
and you see his front,
and then you see him as the fake version of himself, the Hannah Montana.
The Miley.
Yeah. No, the Hannah Montana is the fake version.
Oh. You really think Hannah Montana is real? Is the fake, and Miley's the real girl?
Well, yeah, because Miley lives the whole lives her real life.
Sorry,
and then
yeah,
Hannah,
of course, I've not seen it.
oh, right. It's like, but it's different from like Batman and Bruce Wayne because like
That's kind of what I was
yeah,
picturing.
yeah. Because Bruce Wayne is
It's like Bruce Wayne's not the real one.
yeah, Batman's
is,
the real one. Yeah, I saw an interesting thing recently that was about the Dark Knight or about that Batman trilogy where they were like, we needed Bruce Wayne / Batman to be three people to show his duality, and I thought it was really interesting. So you do see that in Christian Bale's performance, where he has like the Batman he shows to people, the real Bruce Wayne that only Alfred and Rachel get to see, and then like the true mask, which is like the fake Bruce Wayne.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, so Batman's like Ultra and Hannah Montana because he's got another.
Batman's peak Hannah Montana.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that was actually a really difficult question to ask you because it's where do we gonna
I asked the questions here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What else did we have? We had Daedra stuff. Just going to be interesting. Was the implication with her storyline that she was going to kind of get free reign with some of this stuff?
Yeah, I think being in that room with
the room where it happens.
The room where it happens. I think they want her to lead this, and she's so hung up on Andor. I think she will get pushed into doing it, but still like have this like itch to go get Andor, and that's going to be her downfall.
Yes.
Because I think, I mean, you see it in the way she talks to Krennic. She's like, "Oh yeah, do this, fucking idiot," and then he looks out the window like, "Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Oh duh, just evil shit." And I think she will get pushed into doing that, and she's gonna abandon it.
Yeah, I'm interested. Cassian's storyline. Go on.
Very quickly, do you think so? At the very start of Rogue One, Andor is like escaping somebody, isn't he? And he like kills them.
It's not. I don't. It was a dude. No.
Do we see the person he kills?
I don't know. Do you think they're going to properly tie that in? Because I think like I'm a sucker for that, but I don't like it. If that makes sense.
Like tying it right up to the moment.
Yeah, because he did that with Rogue One and A New Hope.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah, that's exactly like I'm like, oh, but I'm like that shouldn't work. That's stupid. That's not required. But
well, you finish Rogue One and you go, that was bloody good because the ending is so good, and you're like, I'll stick on Rogue One.
Yeah. Yeah, Cassian. I'm wondering. Now he's so in debt. Like he's so in the rebellion. Like he's selling it to other people. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's just gonna continuously become like this snowball of a character where it's just like he's bringing people in, like leading more people.
Oh, I assume, yeah, you're right, because we're moving so vastly quickly. We probably will get a chunk of like the rebellion where Mon Mothma's there with Andor,
at least in the last arc.
Yeah, that's I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder if that's why, because presumably at that point where she's like so powerful within the rebellion, that's because she gets so outed, like within like her community, that she has to completely disconnect from it. And I'm wondering, because that was the assumption that I made. I was thinking about that, like when I was watching that arc. I'm wondering where that's going to happen. Like
because she's so prominent as a senator, her downfall is going to be so public that she's like, I need to be a recluse in the in Yavin, which nobody's there.
Just the fact that like as soon as people find out that she's part of the rebellion, she is like this known, not even like a known figure. She's known within a community, whether she was a senator or not, because she's like one of the part of the rich community. Yeah. That I do wonder if Mr. Townsend is going to turn on her, be like, this is who she is, and then she's going to have to like just fully go into the rebellion. She's not even like in hiding.
That'd be cool, like public ousting of her. That's really interesting if that does happen. Gosh, I'm so excited. I really want to go back and watch season 1, and I think I will.
Yeah, I think I will too. I'll probably rope a certain someone into watching it.
Good God, that he's not seen it?
No.
Oh. This is a message for that certain somebody. Watch this. No, yeah. Because I really liked it the first time, but I think it'll work better on a rewatch. I don't know. I also think this season feels different in a good way.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaster, like, I don't know. That was Andor.
We also had Veritas say through or Sathu.
Oh yeah, Belinda was in
Belinda
Andor.
was in this.
I literally, when she was there, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there's nothing. Why am I popping for that?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm about to go watch her in Doctor Who.
Nice.
So, segment of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who episode 3.
What do you want to know?
Well,
Huh?
I would like to know first your thoughts on the previous episode since you weren't here for the Jack Extravaganza.
Oh, sure. This doesn't mean this means I don't have to go film like a little review for it because you can just clip this.
I know, I did ask.
Yeah, sorry about that. I liked the last episode. Funny, I watched it quite tired, so the ending, I don't know if it was as quick as I remember it being.
It's quick.
But I also don't know if I particularly like the ending. So
what do you mean by the ending?
The ending as in what happens with Mr. Ringading.
Okay.
Where he just expands and becomes like this omnipotent being in the universe or something.
Uh-huh.
Like he just keeps expanding very quickly, and then because now I've got it in my head that this thing permeates all of existence.
Uh-huh.
And has to come back at some point now. Like not that they have to. But weird thing to not address, I think, if this thing just exists, this cartoon character.
You could say that by the end of this episode though.
No, disagree.
Okay.
I spoke to you briefly about this with episode 2. It feels like Doctor Who again. This is like a proper Doctor Who story where they're going around and doing like their little mysteries and stuff, Scooby-Doo gang style, with a companion that actually has her own thoughts and feelings. What did he do? The Doctor has his little scuff on his hand, and he goes like, the bi-generation gave me more power to heal or whatever. I said to you, I thought that was absolutely fine. They've done stuff kind of like that, and especially the Moffat era, I think, with Matt Smith and River Song. Going like, I use this, and then this thing happens, and then they just kind of go like balls to the wall with it when they kind of shoot the beam of light through Shooty, and then his regeneration energy gives Mr. Ringading like his existence. It is loosely written as it feels like while I'm describing it, because the way of defeating him is just letting him grow and become this thing that can. The whole thing is he wants to experience life, I guess, like outside the TV.
Yeah, he feeds on light.
So they just give him all light.
So they give him like the ultra light. It's very flimsy.
It is because all they've done is allowed him to grow into the whole universe.
But he will keep feeding entirely
on all light, because most of the universe is
darkness.
No light.
Yes, you're correct. But technically it's light because there's always stars. So there's always going to be light.
I guess. But Shooty seems unfazed by the fact that he just like loses a bunch of regeneration energy. And I understand now that like he can regenerate as many times as he wants and all that stuff. I feel like he would maybe be a little tired after that.
They go straight into another adventure.
Yes, because the 3 episodes have picked up one after each other. Oh my god,
yeah, that poor woman is
going
Belinda.
Through. Yeah. What else happens in this episode? They actually don't interact with that many people in episode 2. But it's all like above board in my mind. It just kind of works, and that's fine. I personally like the god stuff. I like that they pop up every now and again. I said to you, the Harbinger thing doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's goofy as hell. I think it works for Doctor Who. It's not quite the anagram at the end of season 1 with fucking Susan and oh my god, it was the wrong anagram. When it's not even an anagram, the letters just start transforming into their own things. An anagram isn't an anagram if you replace a letter. Like, fucking wake up, Russell. Like, what is happening? You wrote years and years and it's a sin. Ran over this episode. I think it was better. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm not a fan of the fact that we got a midnight sequel. I think it was unnecessary. I think, granted, both of these episodes, they still kept it a fear of the unknown. But it's extending on an unknown that we didn't need an extension on. This could have easily been its own entity.
Mm-hmm.
I also think just on that point actually, was speaking to our friend Dermot, and he made a similar point with the Weeping Angels, where you had this Blink storyline, and you had these entities that like existed. They were scary. You learned a tiny bit about them. That's all you know, and that's like perfect. And then every time they brought the angels back, you just got more and more, and they just got overused and overused, and it was so unnecessary. In my opinion, Blink, excellent. We get this really excellent two-parter with the angels after it, and that's where I would have stopped. The angels are so now overused that they don't mean anything.
You don't like the New Yorks.
Oh, the New York stuff is garbage. It's dog shit. The city that we spoke about that. The city that never sleeps, that has statues that move around, like the Statue of Liberty. Great writing, Stephen. The fucking pair of them, I swear to God.
Who?
Russell and Stephen. Because they've just got they've got peaks, the both of them.
Yeah.
And then they've just got like weird ass decisions that they make, where it's like you give it a second of thought, dude. I think this is the most worked up I've got on the.
Yeah,
I'm blaming the jet lag.
Okay. The jet lag's been a shot of adrenaline.
Yeah, truly. So it didn't need to be a midnight sequel. The fear of the unknown thing is funny because it's two different versions of the same unknown. And my estimation for it was that this thing has had to evolve in a certain way. And what I took away from it is that the first time it shows up and it latches to like this human entity or being or whatever, humanoid is the word I'm looking for, because it's the Doctor or it's whatever the J.K. Rowling looking woman was.
Please don't say her name. Sorry, I'm so sorry to anybody that got offended there.
What for
bringing up the devil's name? Sorry.
Sorry. She who shall not be named.
Yeah, there we go.
The creature latches onto them, but like becomes them, and essentially like doesn't know how to be them. It's always like a character within them, and that's part of the downfall of that unknown. The evolution of it is the fact that it latches on someone, so it never has to be the thing. It just like exists on them, and that way it can move about. So like that's somewhat interesting. The weird thing of like it standing behind someone's back and killing people when it's standing at midnight from the perspective that you're looking at them. One, not interesting. Two, the midnight line is just like funny and stupid.
Yep.
Because the being is probably never going to have been called that based on the fact that it was standing at midnight. It's just like this weird like word that Russell's gone like, oh, I can connect like the name of the planet with how the being works, and it's like childish writing. Like it doesn't need, those things don't need to connect. Fuck me, where was I going with this? I did want to mention, I just saw a TikTok that was talking about the fact that there's more than one of those beings that exists in this episode. So the one that's latched on to the woman at the end is supposedly not the same one that died in the well. The reason for that is if you're eagle-eyed enough, when the first group of people go into the elevator to leave, there's 3 of them standing in the elevator, but it says 4 out of 6 are within the elevator.
Oh, that's why they had that shot.
Yeah.
Dumb.
The problem with that is with that is that whilst that's interesting that the being could have left with them, it wasn't the woman that has the thing latched onto it, and the rules that we've been given within this episode, which again this is writing. Yeah. The rules that we've been given are that this unknown being can only latch on to a new person once that person is, I was going to say killed. It seems like damaged enough to die. Yeah. Because Belinda like gets shot but doesn't necessarily die. To move between them, and she doesn't go around and kill that other person. The last character that has the unknown on her back doesn't go and kill one of the people in the first elevator. Yeah. So there's no reason for that one to be the one that went up in the elevator. But it is interesting that there's more than one of those entities or whatever that come out. I do like the way that it ended. where it's like, oh, this thing could just be anywhere now. I like that. I hope it never gets revisited. But I think it's different from the end of episode 2, where this thing is like exists everywhere.
Sure.
And feeds on like, I don't know. I think the way that they ended episode 2 was them trying to do like a 2001: A Space Odyssey interpretive thing with a character, just failing at it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. I also like this episode. I said to you, I actually wish this was like a 9 out of 10, and I think it had the possibility to be, or like 10 out of 10 even. I thought it was really stellar, but there's so much clunky writing that just takes me out of it.
Yeah, what do you mean?
So like, or like even like clunky decision making. So there is a point where I actually really like the inclusion of this being a deaf person, and that being the reason that she was like the last survivor, because she can't hear it whispering in her ear. Thought it was really interesting. This is also like a way to get diversity in your show that's really fucking interesting. Like they've developed these like little like badges that show up like subtitles for you and stuff. I just thought it was cool. And like seeing the Dutch using sign language, I just thought everything surrounding that was cool.
Yeah, I kind of had the thing of like, oh, of course Doctor knows sign language.
Yeah. And I liked there was actually some really good jokes in this episode. Where it was like, you're a nurse, how do you not know sign language? That's illegal. And she was like, I know it should be. Like, I just thought it was also on that. Belinda, best actress on this show that this show has had since the start of Jodie's. I think she's phenomenal.
For it is.
I really, really think she's just settling into the show and she's elevating the writing.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of work with what she's been doing.
Yeah. And she's not overdoing it. And not say that Chuti is bad.
I liked him in this episode.
I liked him in this episode a lot. He has a fucking stellar smile. See when he's like calming down that woman, he's just like smiling at her. You're like, that feels doctory to be like, I got you, like you're safe with me.
They do the thing in this episode as well where there's obviously stuff going on in the back of his brain because you see him start to work stuff out, and he has those like epiphany moments instead of just like yapping, always knowing what's going on, which is like what we've seen a lot of him have this like
he
season
felt
and
doctory.
He felt like the Doctor.
Yeah. Also, I love the line that he's like called that guy Babes, and he was like, "It is inappropriate to call me Babes." Okay, hon.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Sorry, you mentioned that Russell said that Babes was his catchphrase. I think they've known that since episode 3 of last season because Stephen had written his script and sent it over to Russell, and then they've been like, oh, we've both given him the word Babes, but not communicated with each other.
Cool. Yeah, the little bits I was like, they get a moment where I can't remember her name, the deaf girl, Alice something. She has to like.
It was Alice. It was spelled ALISS.
Yeah. I think that's why my brain's doing like some dyslexic pronunciation. She has to like spin because this guy for some reason gets really pissed off and is like, I'm gonna deal with this, I'm gonna do it myself, which I thought was a little bit weird, but I guess people are like that. She starts spinning, the camera is then on her, you can see people are behind her and nothing happens to them, and then they kind of get fast and loose with like, don't look at her directly, and it's then people who are like looking at her that are getting launched.
I think the rules are someone has to be directly behind her, but also only when observed.
Yeah.
Which is why it's like, don't look at her, because they would have started murdering people.
But as she's spinning, there are people behind her, and nobody has said don't look at her yet. So I'm like, are these people just not looking at the girl that everybody's looking at? I don't know. It was just like that took me out. Also, oh my god. Also, thought it was really weird that they got in, and that scene where he's like, "Oh, don't call me babes," and he's like, "I don't like how this looks," and they take off the armor. There is no reason for them to do that other than when they are escaping, for there to be tension that the Doctor and Belinda need to put it on to get away, which leads us into the like stalemate situation at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, find better ways to write that. Somebody trips and like it breaks, and they have, but then you need a new pack. Like
I know an easy way of doing it is sorry, like you were saying, like something breaks. That I think that whole room still had armor in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or no, it wouldn't have. Presumably, it would have.
No, I don't know.
I think it was just the armor that they put on. I think an easy way of doing it would be somehow having armor in that room that they needed if had they got it damaged. So like at some point they get it damaged outside of that room, and then someone has to get it replaced before they go up to the surface or something. And they just use a spare that they've brought with them, but it takes time to put the spare on instead of having them strip off and then having to put the whole outfit back on.
It was bizarre. Also, my brain's kind of just been thinking, as you were saying, if one has escaped and they were in that elevator, the other two people in the elevator should not be alive. There is going to be moments where they were behind that person, or
I think it has to be observed from the other side. I think like the only way for it to be behind is for someone to have been in front. It's like a shadow. Like a shadow doesn't exist without the light at the front.
The person's in front and they're behind that person, so they're observing the thing on the back. Yeah.
Like if say it was the person at the front that had the shadow, and the two people were like either side. Even if one of those people passed behind them, there's nobody at the front to observe the thing.
Oh, so there has to be somebody
at the
in
other
front
side to
and behind.
it. Yeah.
That didn't come across to me completely in that episode.
No.
Because that whole it has to be at midnight thing.
Yeah.
But there also has to be somebody at 6.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Anyway, okay, right, that makes a little bit more sense how because I was thinking they get up from the elevator, they walk miles, then they have to fly back up to the ship. I'm like, there's no way somebody's not just like falling behind or whatever.
I mean, what you're saying still makes sense. Like there could be the possibility of the fact that like you have the 3 people moving towards down a hallway. Someone's like there in the middle. It's like yada yada. One of them goes to step to the side, just gets fucking launched.
Yeah. That poor woman that we've been watching who wants to get back to her daughter. Sorry, she died off screen.
Again, they're playing fast and loose with the rules. So like it could be the thing of like, it's making the decision to throw those people at that point in time.
Yeah, all this stuff like it smashed up the mirrors. That means the person had to smash up the mirrors.
Yeah, I mean,
but is that because it's whispering and it's the air controlling them?
I thought like, yeah, it's making them go crazy or something. Yeah.
Also, just like, again, the clunky writing, and you pointed out where the doctor's like, a control room? I need to see that. You're going to get patched up by Belinda here, and I'm going to check out the control room so that we separate, so that I inevitably have to run back because the monster has killed a person.
I didn't point that out as bad writing. I pointed that out as, oh my god, we're finally getting the companion by themselves.
Oh, interesting.
Because
yeah,
when does that happen much in Shruti Zero?
Yes, we get a whole episode just with Ruby.
Aside from the single Ruby episode. Again, remember
we see her whole life?
That was 73 yards, which I think was episode 4.
Yeah.
So you got 3 episodes
the
of them
Court,
together, and then it was just like suddenly you're just with it. That the seasons are not long enough.
No. Because now we're getting Ruby back next episode. I'm like, oh, Belinda. No. Yeah, apart from all of that, it still feels flimsy. Mm-hmm. But the last 2 episodes have felt good. Stronger. The cores are good. And I can I'd rather sit there and be like, oh, I feel like this is Doctor Who. Yeah. And I can write away this bad writing that's on the outskirts of it when the centre feels good.
Yeah. When it's like Doctor Who at its core.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what this has felt like. This was good. I want to bring this up though. See, when you compare this, and you can't help but compare it to the previous show. When they've done a dark episode, it's felt dark. This still felt like lit sets and way too bright for what this should have been. The entire show
I actually didn't feel that.
Really?
I still got a little jump scared at the first reveal, because I think instead of doing her head in the shadow, they did 2 of her head. And I was like, oh, that looked freaky. And they do the sound thing to make you jump. Yeah. It's just so, honestly, just so happy we didn't see the fucking being. We saw the shadow outline of it. And
when he was like, I'm waiting, I was like, oh no, don't. Yeah, all in all, pretty good.
Yeah, decent.
How are we feeling about it moving forward? Because I was excited for this and you weren't.
Well, this episode.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit happier about how this season could go.
Cool. Oh, sorry, I also wanted to mention, because you said you weren't a fan that this was a sequel. I think, with the rich history that this has, a sequel to, like, a direct sequel to previous episodes is actually kind of cool. Not necessarily Midnight. I think that's maybe, one of the worst episodes you could pick. But, like, picking up on another story.
Yeah, Love and Monsters. I need to see, like, more monsters from Clom.
Okay.
Get Peter Kay back in that weird ass
Please.
fit. God. Yeah, let's play a game.
Shall we play a game?
Shall we play a game? What episode would you like to see a sequel to?
Oh, I'd have to like. You'll have one off the top of your head.
I actually don't, but I feel like the answer needs to be
a Jodie episode. Thank God, Owen.
It needs
you
to be,
said it, not me.
It can't be like it can't. Like, I don't think it can be like the Daleks or the Cybermen.
No.
Unless you choose an episode for not for those villains, but for like the characters in them, or like some theme within it, like plot or something that can continue. Just try and stay away from like villains that are like notoriously come back.
Yes. There's part of me. This is.
I think a really just off the top of my head, I think of a really fun and goofy, stupid one. Which is the fact that at the end of Tooth and Claw, they go like, "Oh, there is a blood disease within the royal family that does exist. That exists in real life." And in that, it's supposed to be like the werewolf gene. And David Tennant's like, "Oh, like the queen at this point could be a werewolf." I feel like you could do a royal episode for like one of them's a werewolf in the present day.
That's fun.
Or do one you could do one in the future. It could be like more delayed than he thought it would be, and then you could just because remember they got Queen Elizabeth the fucking 10th or something in that Stephen Moffat episode. So that could be fun.
Gosh,
that wouldn't be like a good one, but it'd be like a funny Doctor Who one.
Also, when you're saying that, I'm kind of missing the grounded in British like culture.
I think we've moved away from that.
Yeah,
with more realization of like, the UK, like not the UK, Britain kind of has sucked in the past.
Yeah, but even things like the episode "Fear Her" or like.
That's funny. That's the one that came into my head when I was trying to think of sequels. I was like, what could you?
Oh, same. Yeah.
But I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
That's fucking weird.
But because that's what made me start to think about like these British like, or like even the episode where Amy and Rory they're living out their life in like Amy's pregnant in that like small little British town.
Oh, Amy's Choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that Britishness, like.
Yeah.
Or the one with the giant drill and the Silurians. Oh, look at me. Thank you. Like stuff like that. Like there's a random British town and there's a massive drill.
Yeah, moved away a lot from. I think do you know what that probably is. Specifically, the small towns. Stephen Moffat comes from Paisley. It's probably. It's probably.
Oh my God!
Influencing some of those stories.
Wow. Thanks for doing that connection for wow.
Just having heard him talk about like writing people as well. He's like, yeah, I just rip off like people in my real life and shove them into stories, and nobody has a clue.
That's wow. He's like Glenn Cocoing the script.
What does that mean?
Mean Girls. Do you know when Damien's like, "You go, Glenn Coco." Tina Fey's spoken about. She based just his name. She liked his name off somebody that was in her high school.
Nice.
And now that's still his name. So people go like, "You go, Glenn Coco," all the time to him.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
See, now that I've asked that question, I'm like, I don't know what I want to see a sequel to.
I don't know either.
Do you know what I would like to see a sequel to?
Just for record, there was no editing between him going, "I don't know what I want to see a sequel to. I know what I want to see a sequel to."
It's just a snarky comment.
Oh.
Like Doctor Who Series 10, just start new.
Wow, that's... Madame Tush.
Like, I'm still annoyed by the fact that we had, like, the way Russell brought back the show to this mystery with Gallifrey, it was destroyed. And then Stephen Moffat comes and builds on that. He's like, actually, it didn't happen. The Doctor was more the Doctor in that time than anyone realised that he was. And then you end with Capaldi, and he's just brought it back in. We've set up like this whole new world for like a new writer to come in. Chibnall comes in, he's like, nukes Gallifrey, and then like now Russell's trying to have to put trying to put the pieces back together, like manages to like kind of just ignore that storyline, get the theme out of it that was what Chibnall I think was trying to go for, which was the adoption thing, has managed to build on that a bit with the Doctor, and then as the Doctor comes in and he's like, oh, I was like adopted too and stuff, and it's just like
that's the extent of it all.
but it's better than the exploding Gallifrey.
Yeah, like you absolutely,
because you get the Doctor actually talking about this thing, and he's actually like exploring what was like trauma that he experienced in the Geordie era, and with like the 14th Doctor or whatever, punching the wall and all that. Like you actually get him talking about it. And yeah, now Russell has his own issues, but like we had a period of time where things were building on each other. Now they're not.
Yeah.
None of Russell's stuff even builds on itself. Everything's just loosely written because everything's magical now. And I remember like when they introduced this at the end of like the 60th, I was like, this is so interesting because they can do like fantasy.
Yeah.
But fantasy still has rules. Like just because it's not sci-fi doesn't mean you can just that nothing makes sense anymore.
Indeed. I cannot think of a sequel. I'm trying to think of like.
I gave you so much time there.
I know. I was like listening and then also going. I can't even think, so I'm just gonna listen.
How about?
I'm thinking companions. That's where my brain went. Like, it would be really cool to see Jenna Coleman again. I don't know in what capacity.
Right.
Me's fucked off.
My brain went to this as well, where I was like, oh, you could do a sequel with those two, and I thought, fuck no, don't need that.
Yeah. I think What's Her Chops would be kind of cool. Martha.
Oh, 100%. Sorry, like spin-off
and,
stuff as well.
Jimmy. Not Jimmy.
If this show manages to make it another 10, 15, 20 years, or comes back in 10, 15, 20 years, the choice for a character that is essentially like Elizabeth Slade and Sarah Jane coming back is Martha Jones.
Oh my god, yeah.
If nobody does it, then I'll kick up a fuss. I'll be writing
You're down to
my
Bad
emails
Studios.
to BBC.
Well, yeah, no, Martha and is it Jimmy? What is his name? Why am I blanking on
Who
it?
the fuck is Jimmy?
Rose's boyfriend. It's not Jimmy.
Mickey.
Mickey, thank God. Martha and Mickey. I want like a little adventure with them. Doesn't even need to be connected to the
Oh
Doctor.
shit, we did completely finish with them.
Because they end. They're together.
Did Mickey not get not Mickey? Did the actor for him not get accused of some stuff?
Oh, then he doesn't need to return.
I don't know how bad it was, but I think it was one of those things where he got called out and then deflected by calling out John Barrowman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not 100% sure on that. That might or might not have happened.
The Disinformation Podcast
yes.
continues.
But anyway, pretty sure Freema Ageman's in the clear, so...
Lovely. Great, she's still on TV, so... yeah, her, or I'd like to see Clara back. I'd like some sort of sequel to Capaldi. Because a lot of the, like, Tennant and Matt Smith stuff... I was going to say Matt Baker, that's so funny. Like, are interlinked. But
Interlinked.
Good God. Audio listeners are just like, what's he doing? I think Capaldi could do with like a little bit of love like that.
You just mean like a villain from the Capaldi era?
A villain, or like Capaldi coming back and meeting Chuty, or like...
Dude, I really want... Remember the 60th? Remember the rumours and
I know.
the excitement? I'd love that. I think he's properly done with the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
But in like a healthy way.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Or get Missy back in some way. No, she has such good endings.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And they've already ruined it by having another master. Which all of us that are mad about that just have to go like, oh, hopefully he's an in-between one. God, they really know how to take things and ruin them in the show.
Up, yeah. That's maybe why like sequel is maybe not the best. I'm actually surprised at how
Well, that was done.
well, yeah, how it didn't really fuck up.
I didn't. Oh, it's so funny. You know, they have the flashback to David Tennant and the other actress in that episode. I was almost certain they were going to flashback to that specific shot of David Tennant.
What specific shot?
The one where he's like in fear. He's like got the tears in his eyes. That was actually. I don't know if that was necessary. The flashback.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it was kind of better done in that one episode with Capaldi, where he's like, "Why did I choose this face?"
Yep.
And then I feel like it's justified to flashback to that because you see like you see the David Tennant Doctor, and then you see him like saving people, and it just really like matches up. You're like, oh, this is why I chose this face. It's like a moment where I like went and saved as many people as I could, even though I probably shouldn't have. It's like a lesson learned.
Do you know, interestingly, because how you're bringing up like how it's integrated, when I think about New Who and the way that they looked back on Doctor Who, it was always in like in world they'd see the faces. It was never a flashback like this. It was never like because of the editing, if that makes sense.
When they were talking about older things. Well,
yes.
I
so
mean,
when they're talking about
use the Capaldi example.
That's New Who within New Who.
You're talking about like way
New
back.
Who to Doctor Who, because this is now. I know this is semantics, but now this is the third iteration of the show. Having a flashback, like a edited flashback to a previous show, is actually kind of weird because like people on Disney Plus, if they've went, oh, what was that, and they want to go see it.
I don't hate it. It's just
no,
like,
neither do I. It's
just
just interesting
weird
to think about, isn't it?
I think they got like it's another thing with even New Who. They got like much looser with referencing stuff because for so long Russell barely like would build on stuff as like small drops of information. It was like a new show, and then you'd introduce things slowly. Steven did the same thing, but by the time you got to Capaldi, like it was like whatever season 10 of Capaldi, you go across his desk, he has a photograph of River, which makes sense, of his granddaughter that nobody's going to know if you're like new to the show, or even had been watching it for 10 years, a mug full of sonic screwdrivers, and they were all like references to the past, and it was just like,
oh, I love him as an academic.
I do think that season is a good introduction to the show, but that specifically is just going to be sort of confusing for people.
That season is the one that I'm like, when I rewatched it all, I was like, that was really good.
I don't think that's a good season.
I liked it.
Good for you.
The end, look, there's some bad episodes in there.
There's some really bad episodes.
Actually, there's a lot of stinkers in the middle.
Most of it's
Never mind.
most of it's stinkers.
It
just
ends
like,
really well.
just like the start's like good, even though it's Puddle Lady.
Yeah.
And then it ends phenomenally.
It's funny the Puddle Lady was the thing I got hung up on, but it's actually not bad.
I know. It was so confusing speaking to you, and you were like, the Puddle. It was bad season because Puddle.
Yeah.
The growth.
Sequel to the Puddle Lady, that's my answer.
It's so unnecessary.
Coming to a theatre near you, it's going to be a movie. The Puddle Lady.
I thought we were going to segue into the Heartstopper movie there.
Oh. Are we talking about news?
I get. Why not? I want to talk about two things actually because it kind of popped in my head.
Okay.
First one being that Heartstopper. I should stop doing that for the mic.
Why we like this?
Your best mates are back. Season 4 is now Heartstopper the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's going to be called. Wouldn't it be funny if the movie was called Heartstopper Season 4?
That's funny.
Also, like that's going to be tight.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're having to fit 8 episodes worth of TV into. Granted, I think it's volume 6, which is like half of a season. It's like 2 hours. Actually, you know what? Oh, it makes sense. Take that back. Makes sense to make it a movie.
Weird. I saw TikTok. I saw this announcement, whatever. And I saw TikTok of a guy who's going, Netflix just cancelled another show, and it was Heartstopper, and all these people in the comments being like, they haven't cancelled it. Technically, it is a cancellation, and they're just allowing it to wrap up via a movie. Mm. But I also think where those actors are now, you were not getting them back for another season.
I think you could have gone back for another season.
Really? I know Kit Connor came out and said,
They're busy, but they're
He
not.
said season 4 he
busy.
wanted to be the end.
Yeah, I know that.
Because he was like, nobody wants to see me as an adult being like, I'm away to uni.
It is funny him saying that though, because I feel like
Babyface.
I think he's not changed as much as he probably thinks he has.
Yeah.
I mean, physically he has put on like muscle and stuff. It's not been that many years. It's 2022 that first season came out.
God, wow.
And also you have people like...
Wow. Sorry, was it 1 a year?
Yeah.
Wow, that never occurred to me.
You have people like Tom Holland, who is still playing a high schooler.
Yeah.
You have the Stranger Things kids. That's the most outrageous
Yes,
one.
yeah, completely.
You have, and I think it is done now, but I'm not certain, Euphoria.
It's not done. But they will be adults in the next season.
So, like, actually his show is the least outrageous
one fair.
For casting. I just thought it was a kind of a funny comment when you put it in the context of other things.
Interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't really have much thoughts on this. Just more so...
It's just an interesting choice.
It's definitely an interesting choice. I just feel like, and I felt this with the show anyway, they kind of neglect a lot of other characters, or the arcs, in air quotes. Like, I should stop doing this.
It's fine. I'm more of a podcast watcher than listener anyway. So those choices are for me.
Thanks. A lot of them just get like sidelined. Like, it's like we've hit a plot point and that's your plot point for the season. Like, I especially think Isaac, who's like, he realizes he's asexual. That's it. Like, he has a realization about a book at some point.
You take 3 seasons together, I think.
I think they have in season 2, and then season 3 he's just not really
That's it.
doing much. And then you're like, oh, they have one interesting thing where all his friends go off in couples and he's left alone.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a fucking interesting story of being like, oh, I feel abandoned. And not only do I feel abandoned because there's couples around me, but then you have the added level of like, he's asexual, so how does that make him feel? Like, interesting stuff there. But even as far as like names, Tao and Elle,
yeah,
they have interesting stuff of like progressing with their relationship and maybe figuring out the dynamics of that, shall we say, in season 3. Never really touched upon. It's hinted that they figure stuff out, but never really touched upon the whole stuff with her being invited on a radio show to be like attacked, basically. It's a blink and you'll miss it scene.
I think this again comes down to like the runtime of the show.
Yeah, it's
they're such short episodes,
like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they are. Granted, it does make it a very easy watch.
Oh, super easy.
Yeah,
very bingeable.
Truly.
Yeah.
To the point where like probably we'll just rewatch it before the film comes out.
Oh really?
Yeah,
it's just
you
that
just
easy
have like
to
this
stick
complete.
on.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about, not news, is I feel like it keeps coming up. I think this honestly is like the third time you talked about it on the podcast. Is the Captain America 4 stuff with the villain, the Brainiac guy, whatever the hell his name was.
Oh, the leader.
So remember the leader, and I was like, I think what they've done is they've reshot it, because I remember I'm talking in interviews about it being heavy, and then I think you told me that was the case.
Yes, yeah.
Because they leaked like concept art, or there'd been conversations about reshoots or whatever for that reason, because test audiences didn't like it. And recently there's been images that have come out of like him with the leader get up, and it's just like,
is it bad?
No, it's not great, but it's just funny that like this it just keeps coming up on like my I guess my like For You page.
Wow,
and
that
stuff.
is weird.
And I'm just kind of, honestly, I don't know why I brought it up aside from the fact that there's images that are out now.
No,
that
I mean that's
completely confirm what we were talking about.
Our loyal listeners from episode 6. There's been an update.
And I kind of get it. I kind of get why they sort of reject it, but it's probably one of the things that makes the film like the most clunky is that you're a villain. You're just like cutting around because you've put him in new makeup. That's not good.
This is why I'm excited for what we're talking about next week will be the Thunderbolts, or just Thunderbolts asterisks.
What's the asterisk for?
Don't know, but people who have seen it have said it is purposeful. There is a reason why it's there. So that's interesting to me. I'm trying to stop myself from getting hyped because I have not really enjoyed a Marvel thing since Agatha, which I know it's not that long ago,
Yeah,
but
honestly, I was thinking about Agatha earlier, and I was like, oh, I could watch
so
Agatha.
good. Daredevil was a massive disappointment. If anybody listened to last week's episode, you'll understand.
Yeah, another reason that I didn't listen to portions of it was Daredevil.
I fully spoil as well.
Yeah, great.
Because it's so annoying. I really want to have discussions with you actually about it.
Yeah.
But they released a reel of like all the practical stunts that they did.
Real.
Don't know if you saw the thing about Florence Pugh jumping off the second tallest building in the world.
No.
And she was like, Ken Feige was like, no. And she said, but think about the press tour. Think about how fun it'll be me talking about jumping off the second. And they've let her. So she jumps off the second tallest, the highest building in the world.
Yeah.
All of the like action stuff's in camera. Like they're like, we try to use as little VFX as possible. People are talking about it's like new for the MCU and it's like really grounded and tackles mental health. Like
that kind of makes sense for the characters.
That we get. I'm like, thank God it's not the Suicide Squad approach of like they're bad, but like they're actually good. Like,
is this a prequel to Captain America 4?
I don't know.
I
know you've not seen it. It also kind of has to be a prequel to Daredevil.
That's really interesting. Fuck, man. I need to go watch stuff. There's too much to watch. Stop.
TV's good at the moment. That's bad. But
TV and film need to stop releasing things that connect with anything to do with Disney for a little while, just for me.
I think you'll be good. I don't think they're going to touch upon it in Daredevil.
Nah. I never need to watch everything.
Okay. Well, time's a ticket. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm slightly hyped, but I'm going to leave it at that because like I don't want to be.
Yeah, no, I was fully on the like, this one's going to be a shitter till Fantastic Four, and I'm now turning.
I don't know if Fantastic Four will be good.
I know now I'm thinking that.
Which one did we do in our like roundup? Did I take Fantastic Four?
I took Fantastic Four.
What did I take?
Superman.
Okay.
Could you imagine if they're both bad in July? Oh, tragic.
What a shocker. Anyway, question?
I am kind of excited to be going into blockbuster season with you.
Yeah, all the films that we used to watch together were in that realm. It's not until recently that we started, in the last like year and a bit, that we started watching
indie stuff together.
A lot of better films together.
Yeah. Like the ending to Mission Impossible is so close, it's kind of mad.
That's not the ending though, right?
Well, they're marketing it as the ending.
Yeah, I think
Tom Cruise doesn't want it to be the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain there's another 2 there.
I don't think they'll necessarily call them Mission Impossible though. I wonder if they go like Ethan Hunt.
No.
Or something else.
No, that would be tragic. Mission Impossible is such an excellent title.
What if he gets killed in this and it's all like a ploy?
What's a ploy?
Like the whole like, oh, we'll be doing more.
Well, that would be interesting.
Yeah. That would be it. And then we've got Lilo and Stitch. So, oh no. What?
Should I just ask the question? Because you were going to make a point about Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch is coming out.
I just read the words Until Dawn.
Oh no.
And I'm hoping it's not relating to like anything within Until Dawn because we haven't. Anyway.
Okay.
Since you're talking about Until Dawn this week, what video game would you like to see adapted into a film or show? Didn't you just cover this in the film?
Yeah, I just made a TikTok about this, but...
How about a film show into a video game? What kind of video game would it be? What are examples of good conversations of the medium and then bad conversions of the medium, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I'll let you cover what video game would you'd like to see turned into a film or show, because you have just spoken about this.
I've made a TikTok about the other question as well. It's just not
what the other way around.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, let's do the first one.
I give my funny answer that I ended with that. I want to see Uncharted done again.
Oh, sick.
It is perfect for a show. I could see it being done as a movie as well, just better.
Yeah.
It's maybe a guilty pleasure movie.
Film.
Bad.
That film is bad.
It is bad. I like Tom Holland in it, and
Like, it's bad.
That's the extent of it.
The thing I always say about that film, because I really don't like that film,
Yeah.
is that I think it has good stunt work in it.
Yeah, the whole ship thing at the end I think is cool. Like a cool set piece. Yeah, I know it looks bad. I know it's bad. I know.
I'm trying to remember what the ship looks like on the ship, because I just remember the CGI ships in the
Yes.
end.
Look, I just think that you have... Why they didn't decide to just adapt the game when the games have like such strong narratives is beyond me.
It's funny that they had like the Uncharted project, which is like this shitter, and then they have like The Last of Us. That's really, really well done.
Yeah.
The scene that I think of, I think it's in the trailer, is like them trying to steal whatever from the auction, and then like Tom Holland's stunt double falls through like a bunch of lights and shit. And I just remember that looking really good and being like, oh cool, like it feels Uncharted, like someone's climbing and falling through shit. Yeah, no, that's a good Uncharted is a good one. What show? Oh, you could easily do, just because I was talking about it, you could easily do like Red Dead Redemption as a TV show.
Oh, cool.
Just that's like an easy like a Western TV show people would watch.
Yeah.
Or GTA for that matter, people would watch.
Oh my god, how is that not in development?
How is that not?
That'd
make
crazy.
Loads of money. Maybe that's just like a Rockstar keeping like that close to their chest, like
maybe
as in like they don't see a reason for that to need to be a TV show. That'd probably cheapen the property.
Yes,
as well.
actually, yeah, because it works well as a video game.
Yeah,
there are video games that I'm like, that shouldn't. You don't need to make that narrative. One of them that I actually said in that TikTok was Infamous, but I was like, I'm saying this with the caveat of I don't know if it would work because you take away the player's choice.
not played it, but that's one of the Quantic Dream games, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's like you can tailor how good or bad your character is.
Cool.
So I wonder if like actually stripping that away, the mechanic, it becomes kind of like
unless you make it like a Netflix.
Oh, like a
Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
How about a film show into a video game?
It's funny, I can't remember what I've said for this, but Mad Max.
Oh,
I think would make a brilliant game.
that exists, Jack.
Was it just a adaptation of the movie?
No, I think this is like a proper AAA game.
Does it?
Yeah. I think it's good. I just don't think it got like traction. Like maybe the marketing was bad or something.
Huh.
It came out round about the time of Fury Road, or a few years after, I think.
Fun.
Yeah. Because I think I have a friend that owns it, and I think he enjoyed it. I might check to see what the reviews are like in a moment. A film or show into for some reason Primeval popped into my head, because that is like dinosaurs coming out of like an anomaly.
Was it you that spoke about the show recently? Why have I
probably
heard
spoke
somebody
about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because there was two shows in my childhood. There was like Doctor Who was the big one.
Oh.
Like the other Saturday night one, probably when Doctor Who wasn't on. I actually think it might have rivaled Doctor Who. I think it was on around at the same time on the same day.
It
on
rivaled
ITV.
it.
Yeah, was Primeval.
Huh.
And that is like dinosaurs showing up. I feel like you could have like a game that starts off quite basic, that is just like hunting dinosaurs that come out of that.
Oh, like Ark.
And then start like, but have it like as a narrative driven game, and then start playing around with the like, somehow you end up in there and then you get trapped there, and then you're in the past, and then you just have like stages to the game. Because there's a point in that I don't know if you ever watched that show. Quite interesting. They end up like going into the past at the end of the first season, but briefly. I think it's the first time they actually go through it, and then when they come back, things have changed ever so slightly, because they've done like the whole stepping on a butterfly thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I know why you spoke about it as well. We were talking about like the Dark Universe world. And
Oh, like
you
what
were like,
yeah. Feels like it's close enough to like Jurassic Park
Yes,
that you kind of do that. Who wouldn't want Doctor Who as a video game? Oh my god.
oh yeah, sure.
The problem with that is like, it's because you have a thing that you can travel in time and space to anywhere. You're immediately restricting people from doing what they want.
Oh sure, yeah.
So maybe not.
I don't know. Technology's advancing, Owen.
Yeah, just get AI to make.
You basically want Ready Player One. What's the Oculus? The Oasis.
Wonderwall.
Yep. What was the good and bad examples? Great example at the moment. But I spoke about it so much last week I forgot to talk about the pilot, but The Last of Us is continuing to be phenomenal. I would say it's the best video game adaptation to a film TV show.
That makes sense.
I don't think there's anything better. People like the Sonic movies. I don't think they are great adaptations.
Yeah, most things aren't serious. Because video games tend to not be as serious.
Sure.
And so they kind of go for ones that are like more goofy, or like for Uncharted, for example, it's like more action adventure-y. Assassin's Creed was awful.
Sure.
Yeah, I think turning something into a TV show works much better.
I want a Super Smash Bros. TV show.
If there's a massive storyline there to tackle Super Smash Brothers as a TV show.
Yeah, fuck it, give me it.
Okay. What about a drama that surrounds the characters within the Nintendo universe doing like Mario Kart circuits? It's like a
It's like F1. It's like Drive to Survive. You get like confessionals with them all.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I've got something there.
I really like that.
Yeah. I think I can make up some good ideas for films and stuff.
Hey, Mr. Nintendo, call me up.
Who is Mr. Nintendo?
I know that's why I started so much. I was like, huh?
I'm just looking up the Mad Max video game to confirm if
they're good or
that
not.
was good or not. Mad Max 2015. I don't know what the rating is like. Mad Max is one of the games of all time.
Is that what it's saying?
That's what someone said.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so that doesn't give me hope that it's great.
I wanted to load up Steam. It just took a while. Mad Max, £16 on Steam if anyone wants it.
Wow, guys, what a bargain!
I need to set my birthday so that I can.
This is the longest bit to find.
Oh, very positive all around.
There we go.
So it is a good game.
Guys, don't fear. It is a good game.
So, guys, I'd recommend buying the Mad Max video game.
Brilliant. And that'll do it, Owen.
Yeah, I think we're done for
this. Was
for the evening.
For the night. Bloody
guys,
hell, didn't realise the time.
It's 5 till midnight here. Damn, we should end on midnight. For the midnight sequel.
I'm absolutely not just waiting out 5 minutes.
I think we should. That'd be really funny though.
That is going to satisfy nobody bar us.
Hang on, let's just sit in silence for that.
No, I'm not. There is no way that me and you could sit and look at each other without saying. No, you could not.
I could.
You can look at me and not say a word for 5 minutes.
Challenge me.
I do not challenge you. Because I can look at you without saying a word for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you're the problem.
Oh, and I guess we're ending on that. As I said, next week we'll talk about the Thunderbolts. That will have a spoiler and a spoiler-free section because we...
Not in that order.
Spoiler-free in a spoiler section. Because I think we will be going into movies where we are more likely to do that now, the blockbuster stuff.
Yeah.
From now on. I'm also going to don't know if I'll get there, a movie called Parthenope, which is a new movie by Paolo Sorrentino, who made a bunch of famous Italian movies. Awesome. I don't think that's getting a wide release though, so that's why I'm like, we'll see.
I'll probably try and catch up with The Last of Us, so maybe we could briefly
have
talk
a
about
Last of
that.
Us discussion. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll also talk about Doctor Who
and also Andor.
And Andor. Maybe I won't go see that, Parent though.
I mean, you can do it for yourself.
I mean, I'll see it for my... Yeah. I mean, for the next 3 weeks, we'll have Andor and Doctor Who.
And
The Last of Us.
Do we just become a TV podcast for aside from like Thunderbolts?
Actually, there might be a week after where we could just do TV, which would be nice. But then we're into like the Weekend's movie, Hurry Up Tomorrow's coming out, and then we're in like Mission Impossible, Lilo and Stitch, The Phoenician Scheme, Karate Kid Legends, Ballerina, then it's like Blockbuster every week. So we eating good, or at least we eating big.
Yeah, those aren't the same thing.
Well,
I mean, they're not. We've got 3 minutes until we hit midnight.
stop! I know what you're trying to do. Isn't satisfying for anybody.
No, just me, because they don't. It's not like we're ending on like a 2-hour mark, right?
No, I know. Yeah, so it's literally gonna be like
it's like 1 hour. Oh my god, how long's this podcast been?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't know how we've spoken this long.
I wasn't here last week.
Remember, you were like, "Oh, let's watch a movie after."
What's wrong with that? It's only midnight.
Don't you dare tempt me with a movie.
We used to do this all the time.
Yeah, we did.
I was gonna just say bye there to end the podcast, but now we're 2 minutes away from midnight.
Jesus Christ! Do I edit this out, or does this just stay?
No, this stays in. I think this is a really funny bit.
For nobody bar us.
Nobody bar me, I think.
I wonder how many listeners will get to this point. If you're here at this point, what could they do?
Oh yeah, can we just do like a nonsense bit at the end of the episode?
Well, what would we do?
If you're here at this bit, what would your drag queen name be based on the last indie film that you saw and the last blockbuster film you saw? You got to take a word from each title to make your drag queen
What
name.
are we classing as an indie movie?
And not a blockbuster.
So like The Accountant would be a blockbuster.
Anything that you can see in a... Anything... Fuck me.
Sorry.
People know. People... I don't have to
Okay.
put rules on things.
So I think mine would be Penguin Accountant or Accountant Penguin.
I don't know what mine is.
Yeah, and your letterbox isn't updated. So
Yeah,
I can't fucking
it's
find
also
that
1
out.
minute to midnight. So like I've asked the question, maybe I'll answer the question next week. Maybe it'll be the first thing I do, and people that haven't made it to this point won't know anything.
So you're just gonna intro it with like, I don't know.
It's
what it would
me,
be.
Penguin Accountant,
Yeah.
and then everyone's gonna be like, "What's he
Huh?
talking about?"
This
Still 1
is
minute
the
to midnight.
least funniest bit I've been a part of.
I just this
But
I'm
it's
just fucking
satisfying
around.
you. Do you know what?
Yeah, and I'm happy.
Look,
you know?
I'm gonna turn off them cameras. There's gonna be a big, massive smile on your
we
face.
could yeah.
What?
I was gonna say I was gonna blame the jet lag, but anyway, I don't know where my brain is now.
It's midnight.
I guess we'll end it then.
Bye. Bye.